and Azriah of Israel, or in Ephras Damin. And Saul, which was King Saul, and the men of Israel were gathered together, and they encamped in the valley of Elah, and drew up in battle array against the Philistines. The Philistines stood on a mountain on one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other, with the valley in between them. And a champion went out from the camp of the Philistines. His name was Goliath from Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. Okay? How high is it? Close to 10 feet tall. He was 9 feet 9 inches. Okay? So he was taller than any person that we know of right now. Okay? He was taller than Andre the Giant, because Andre was only 8 foot. Okay? He's taller than Shaq. He's taller than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Okay? This guy was tall. He was so tall that he had a bronze helmet on his head and around with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of bronze. You guys know how much weight that was? 126 pounds. Okay? So you have to be big if you're going to carry 126 pounds on it. Okay? And he had a bronze armor on his legs and a bronze javelin between his shoulders. Now the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and the iron spearhead weighed 600 shekels, or 15 pounds. Okay? And the shield bearer went before him. Now this is kind of weird. He had so much stuff that he had to have someone help him carry it. Okay? He had a chauffeur and someone to carry his baggage. Okay? Then he stood and cried out to the armies of Israel, and he called to them and said, "Why have you come out to line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine, and you are the servants of Saul? Choose a man for yourselves, and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight me and kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then you will be our servants and serve us." And the Philistines said, "I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together." And when Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Isn't that crazy? That's just crazy. Okay? I know the guy's big, but there's got to be somebody, right? And there's nobody, not even the king. Let's move on. Now, David, who is David? Was the son of that Ephraimite of Bethlehem of Judah, whose name was Jesse, and who had 8 sons, and the man was old, advanced in years, in the days of Saul. The 3 older sons of Jesse had gone to follow Saul into battle. Now, Jesse's 3 older boys were there in battle. And what were they doing?
Battle.
Ah! No, they were scared. Not one of those guys were... Listen! How many of you guys got older brothers? Okay? Wouldn't you think that your older brother would go before you and protect you and be the conqueror?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
Yeah.
That's what older brothers do, right?
Yeah. Amen.
No. Not in this case.
That ain't right.
Yeah. David was the youngest, and the 3 oldest followed Saul. But David occasionally went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep in Bethlehem. And the Philistine drew near and presented himself 40 days, morning and evening. He was taunting Israel for 40 days. Isn't that crazy? I'm thinking one day, maybe two, maybe the weekend. Okay? He's out there. I defy the armies of Israel! Give me a man that I may be fivefold bomb! Right? This guy was a giant. I smell the blood of Israelites! I'm just saying, for 40 days, and these guys are going, I ain't going out there. You go out there. I ain't going out there. You go out there. Come on. You go out there. 40 days.
Side question. What is the significance of 40? Like the rain for 40 days, 40 nights. And there's other instances with the number 40 in a lot of things.
40 means testing.
40 is testing.
Yeah. So they were being tested for 40 days. Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Days, yes.
So these guys were being tested, and not one of them was passing.
40 is testing.
Then Jesse said to his son David, take now for your brother an ephah of dried grain and these 10 loaves, and run to your brother at the camp, and carry these 10 cheeses to the captain of their 1,000, and see how your brothers fare, and bring back news to me. Okay? Now Saul and they, all the men of Israel, went to the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. Oh, wait a minute. They're not fighting? They should be. But see, the big fight is Goliath. Goliath was the champion. If you beat the champion, you didn't have to worry about anybody else. You just had to beat one person. It wasn't like you were coming up against the whole army. He was the army. All we needed was one person to fight one battle, and the whole thing would be won. Isn't that the same way with us? We don't have to fight the whole army, guys. We just need to fight one battle. And the battle will be won.
Amen. Yes. Thank you,
But
Jesus.
we're just waiting on someone to fight. So David, verse 20, rose up early in the morning, left the sheep with the keeper, and took the things, and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the camp as the army was going out to fight, and shouting for the battle. For Israel and the Philistines had drawn up in battle array, army against army. And David left his supplies in the hand of the supply keeper, ran to the army, and came and greeted his brothers. Then as he talked with them, there was the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, coming up from the armies of the Philistines. And he spoke according to the same words. So David heard them. Okay? Faith comes by
Hearing.
And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were dreadfully afraid. So the men of Israel said, have you seen this man who has come up before us? Surely he has come up to defy Israel, and it shall be that the man who kills him, the king will enrich him greatly, and give him his daughter, and give his father's house exempt from taxes in Israel. Now, isn't that like a payment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure is.
I'm just wondering, now, since they've been around there for 40 days or more, there's now gone out kind of like a reward, Reward if you can fight and kill Goliath. You will have riches. You will have my daughter. I don't know if she's any good. But you will also be tax exempt for the next year. Right? That sounds like a pretty good deal. You know what? No one was going after it.
Better than Obamacare.
You know what I'm saying? No one was taking the bait. Then David spoke to the men who stood by him, saying, what shall be done for this man who kills the Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? And the people answered him in this manner, saying, so it shall be done for the man who kills him. Now Eliab, his older brother, heard that when he spoke to this man, and Eliab's anger was aroused against David, and he said, why do you come down here, and with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your pride and the insolence of your heart, for you have come down to see the battle. And David said, what have I done now? Is this not a cause? Then he turned from him towards another, and he said the same thing. And these people answered him as the first one did. And when the words which David spoke were heard, they reported them to Saul, and he sent for him. Then David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go out and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, you are not able to go up against this Philistine to fight with him, for you are but a youth. And